TV and film can be brilliant. It can also be bloody awful. Here's my top 5 tropes that ruin even the greatest of stories, starting with number 5, love triangles. Want a dystopian epic about murder, greed, class and power? Here's 3 horny people. How about a supernatural franchise with vampires and werewolves? Well, here's 3 horny people. Well, is comedy safe? No, it's littered with people pining over the wrong person. And I don't outrightly hate love triangles, I just hate what they usually do to a show or film, which is either 1, take away from the interesting parts of the plot, or 2, drag a storyline out to the end of time. Normally, it's just unnecessary or lazy, and a lot of the time, definitely in comedy, both. And I just don't care, because they just drag on, and I lose interest and the will to live. The Hunger Game franchise has some really great themes. It has an interesting world, great antagonists, a great lead character, and 2 pretty boys that won't leave me alone. And what happens is the love triangle becomes the topic of conversation in the fandom, rather than any of the other more unique parts of the story. And people will disagree with me on this, and that's fine, because there's always the other type of love triangle that we can all agree ruins anything.
Yes, I like Rachel.
This is when a show still has 30 episodes to go, and they don't want to get the main romance together before the final, so they just shove a triangle into the plot and try and add some drama. And I hate it. It's lazy because it's so obvious. No one ever thought that Joey and Rachel would actually stay together. Actually, let's quickly look at Friends, because even though I love the show, they went mad for the triangle in the end. The last 3 seasons are insane for it. We have Joey, Charlie and Ross, Rachel, Joey and Charlie, Ross, Rachel and Joey, and it just feels like a waste of time because that's exactly what it's meant to be. Just obstacles to block the ending we all know is coming. And it's not just Friends. The US Office does it, Frasier, The Hobbit, and the funniest one is Downton Abbey. Nearly every plot of some kind has a love triangle. This woman might as well just be a triangle, and honestly, it's kind of hilarious. Like, watch this show and just take a shot every time a new love triangle is added, and you'll be pissed as a fart by the end. Number 4. He's right behind me, isn't he? A lot of points on this list can sometimes be done well. There's always an exception. A new writer comes along and breaks the mold and makes the unlikable lovable. But not this one. The cliche, they're right behind me aren't they, deserves to die a painful and unfunny death, because this trope is just that, painful and unfunny. And yet, it's everywhere. Whenever a script thinks it needs a quick joke, you can bet a character will start bitching about someone, that person will walk in, but the character will continue to bitch, moan and slate just before...
She's behind me, isn't she?
Yes they are, you stupid little shit. And what makes this worse than anything is the fact that no one, and I mean no one, has ever actually said this out loud.
She's behind me, isn't she?
People don't talk like this.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
This isn't a thing.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Number 3. Will they, won't they? Because they always will. Okay, it's time to be honest. You're to blame for this one. Yes, you. It is all your fault. Take a long look at yourself in the reflection of your phone and realise what you have done. In all seriousness, this has kind of come about because of the general public. People like happy endings, they like romances, and they love twee storytelling. And writers know this, and this is why over time, the will they, won't they has become quite boring, because audiences want them to get together, so writers get them together. The actual drama is kind of pointless, because most of the time, we know where it's going. And I don't always hate this, it can work, and a lot of the most iconic shows have a will they, won't they as part of their plot, but I can't help but kind of shut off when a new show introduces one, because I never trust the writers to be brave with it. I never trust the writers to break their audience's heart, to actually realise that these two people are better off without each other, and maybe I'm just heartless, and that's fine, I can live with that. What I can't live with is number 2, wound healing / plot armour. Do you remember when Arya Stark was horrifically attacked in the streets? She was bleeding out and she was just left for dead? And then she was fine. And when Jon Snow hid behind a big rock from a dragon and was fine. Or when this happened. Or this, or this, or this. If a show doesn't kill off any main characters, that's fine and usually a good thing. Fawlty Towers would have been weird if the hotel blew up. But when a show or film kind of relies on the premise of this is dangerous, anyone could die any minute, then characters can't just survive because the plot needs them to. In the same way, if a show decides to run for more seasons than it needed, each one trying to up the thrills, the scares and the threats, but then never actually has any of the main characters succumb to those threats, then it's not threatening anymore. A thriller without thrills is just And the worst thing is when they introduce a new character just so they have someone to kill off when they need it. It's not shocking because we as an audience can feel it coming from a mile off, so we don't bother to connect to the character, because we know before the season ends, so will they, and none of the main characters will care that much, so why should we? Number 1, point 5. Detectives not wearing gloves at a crime scene where they should definitely be wearing gloves. Okay, I know this isn't really a trope, but my god, this annoys me more than it should. Why aren't they wearing gloves? You should be wearing gloves. Do you like having cold hands? Wear some gloves. And once you've noticed it, you can't unnotice it. It is so simple, it doesn't really matter, but it keeps me awake at night and I need it to end. Why, as a detective, are you compromising your case by having naked hands? And I know people will say, but that's the point of the character, they don't follow the rules. And to that I say, no, this isn't Uno. They would be fired straight away. They wouldn't be allowed anywhere near another case, murder or suit. It ruins a crime drama for me and I won't ever be budged on this opinion, so we might as well just move on to finally, number 1, misunderstandings. This is the ultimate sin in storytelling, when a plot would be solved within seconds if the characters acted like normal people and just had a quick 2-minute chat. And this happens so much now that even when it kinda makes sense, I feel myself being annoyed. I was so happy when in season 2 of House of the Dragon, both Rhaenyra and Alicent just had a conversation because I honestly thought they never would, or it wouldn't be to the end of the show. Now, miscommunications obviously happen in real life. My parents once had a full-blown argument on the doorstep about a wheel and a will, but it lasted 2 minutes and then they fell about laughing. It didn't last for like 3 seasons and lead to multiple deaths and disasters. And this trope rarely adds to the story. It just makes the characters look stupid in ways that are unforgivable for an audience, and I can't stand it. And it is everywhere. This trope is even in Shrek. It's in Shrek, which is just another reason why Shrek 2 is the best Shrek film, not only because it doesn't have a miscommunication plot, but it also has a giant gingerbread man, and that can't be beaten. But please do comment below your least favourite tropes. I'd love to know what you think. Give this video a like if you liked it, because that just makes sense, and I'll see you in the next video.